MrBeast just became the first person on Earth to reach 500 million subscribers. Let that sink in. One man, one channel, and an audience bigger than almost every country on the planet. But here is the part nobody tells you. The YouTube videos that made him famous are barely even his main source of money anymore. So let me show you exactly how this machine works, from the inside. It starts with the content. A single MrBeast video in 2026 can cost more than $5 million to make. He gives away islands, buries people alive for a week, recreates entire game shows with real prize money. Most creators spend a few $100s on a video. He spends millions. And here is the secret that broke everyone's brain. He loses money on almost every single video on purpose. Why would anyone do that? Because Jimmy Donaldson figured out something the rest of YouTube missed. The video is not the product, the video is the advertisement. Every insane, expensive, can't look away thumbnail is really a giant billboard pulling hundreds of millions of eyeballs toward everything else he sells. Now YouTube still pays him. With billions of views a year across his main channel, his gaming channel, his reactions channel, and dozens of dubbed foreign language channels, the ad money alone runs into the tens of millions of dollars a year. Forbes estimated he pulled in around $85 million in a single year. That would be a dream for almost anyone. But for Jimmy, it is just fuel. He takes nearly every dollar that comes in and pours it straight back into bigger videos, more studios, more staff, and more businesses. He has openly said it himself. Despite being worth billions on paper, he keeps less than $1 million in his actual bank account. Everything else is reinvested. Think about how wild that is. The most watched creator in human history, a man worth billions, runs his life like a startup that refuses to take profits. Most people, the moment they make a little money, they buy the car, the watch, the house. Jimmy does the opposite. He treats every win as ammunition for the next bigger swing. And that reinvestment is the whole game. Those 500 million subscribers are not just a vanity number. They are the most valuable distribution channel ever built by a single person. When you control the attention of 500 million people, you do not have to ask brands for permission anymore. You can launch your own products and point that ocean of attention straight at them. That is the foundation. YouTube is the engine that prints attention, and attention is the one resource that money cannot easily buy. He spent 10 years sleeping on edits, obsessing over retention graphs, studying every second of every video to build that engine. And once it was running, he did something that almost no creator before him had the discipline to pull off. He used it to build a real empire. So remember the lesson here. The money was never really in the views. The money was in owning the audience, and then deciding what to sell them. Most creators rent their audience to advertisers. MrBeast decided to own his and to become the advertiser himself. In the next chapter, we follow the money into the business that now quietly out-earns his entire YouTube empire. A chocolate bar. Here is a fact that should not make sense. A chocolate bar now makes MrBeast more profit than every YouTube video he has ever filmed combined. The brand is called Feastables, and it is the clearest proof of how this man really thinks about money. Rewind to early 2022, Jimmy launches a chocolate company. Plenty of celebrities slap their name on a product, collect a quick check and move on. Everyone expected the same lazy cash grab. Instead, he did something different. He pointed the full power of those hundreds of millions of subscribers directly at the shelves. The results were absurd. By 2024, Feastables pulled in around $251 million in revenue, with about $20 million in actual profit. Read that again. $20 million in profit in a single year from candy. For the first time ever, his snack brand was more profitable than his entire YouTube and media operation put together. How? He skipped the slow, expensive part that kills most food brands. A normal company has to spend a fortune on advertising just to get people to notice a new chocolate bar. Jimmy already owned the largest free advertising platform on the planet, his own face. He put Feastables in his videos, in his thumbnails, in challenges where the bars were the prize. He turned content into a commercial, and the audience into customers. Then he doubled down on something brands underestimate. Distribution. Getting a product onto the shelf at Walmart, at Target, in gas stations across the country. That is the real war in the food business. Most creator brands sell only online and fade away. Feastables fought its way into tens of thousands of physical stores, so that when a kid who watches MrBeast walks past the candy aisle, the bar is right there, waiting. And he kept the quality high enough that people actually came back. A one-time novelty purchase is worthless. A product people rebuy every week is a money machine. Feastables was built to be rebought. Now here is where it gets serious. Following a major funding round, the value tied to Feastables and the wider business climbed into the billions. Investors looked at a chocolate brand attached to the most powerful attention engine on Earth and saw something they almost never see. A consumer brand that can acquire customers for almost nothing. That is the magic trick. Every dollar a normal snack giant spends fighting for attention, MrBeast gets for free, because he already built the audience first. The chocolate is good, but the real product is the pipeline. 500 million people who already trust the guy on the wrapper. And this is the lesson that separates him from every other creator who ever sold merch. Most people sell a product to their audience once and call it a day. Jimmy built a real consumer goods company with real distribution, real margins, and real repeat customers, using his channel as the launch pad instead of the whole business. He stopped being a YouTuber who sells candy. He became a candy company that happens to own a YouTube channel. But chocolate was only the beginning. Because while Feastables was conquering the candy aisle, in 2024, MrBeast signed a deal with Amazon worth around $100 million to make the biggest reality show ever attempted. It was called Beast Games, and the way it played out tells you everything about how Jimmy Donaldson plays the long game with money. For years, Hollywood looked down on YouTubers. They were seen as kids with cameras, not real producers. So Jimmy decided to walk straight into their world and outspend them at their own craft. He gathered 1,000 contestants competing for a $5 million prize, the largest single prize in television history. Amazon handed over a massive upfront payment for the rights to stream it. That $100 million deal did two things at once. It gave him a giant pile of capital, and it stamped him with something money usually cannot buy on its own: legitimacy as a traditional media powerhouse. But here is the twist that shocked people. Jimmy spent so much making that one season, well over $100 million, that he personally lost tens of millions on the project. He took the biggest deal of his career and still managed to bleed money on it. To most people that sounds like a disaster. To Jimmy, it was a calculated bet. Because the goal was never to profit from one season of one show. The goal was to prove that a creator could deliver a global, blockbuster scale production, and to build a relationship with one of the most powerful companies on the planet. Think about what he actually bought with that loss. He bought a seat at the table with Amazon. He bought proof that his brand could carry a premium streaming show, not just a free YouTube video. And he bought leverage for every future negotiation, with every studio, every platform, every investor. This is the part that separates a creator from a mogul. A creator asks, "How much will this video make me this month?" A mogul asks, "What door does this open for the next 10 years?" Jimmy was willing to lose tens of millions in the short term to become a name that streaming giants compete to work with. And it fits his entire pattern perfectly. Lose money on the video to sell the chocolate. Lose money on the show to own the relationship. Every loss is an investment in attention, reputation, or distribution. He is playing a board game while most creators are playing the slot machines. The streaming deal also did something subtle but huge. It diversified him away from YouTube. For his whole career, one company, YouTube, controlled the algorithm that fed his entire business. By moving into Amazon's world, he reduced his dependence on any single platform. If one door ever closed, he now had others wide open. So here is the lesson from the Amazon chapter. The richest players are often the ones most willing to lose money on purpose, in the right place, for the right reason. They spend short-term cash to buy long-term position. A loss on a spreadsheet can be a massive win in the real world if it buys you something money normally cannot. By now you have seen three engines: YouTube, chocolate, and streaming. But Jimmy was not done building. Because behind all of it he was quietly assembling a single holding company designed. Behind the videos, the chocolate, and the Amazon show there is a company most people have never heard of. It is called Beast Industries, and it is the real answer to how MrBeast got so rich. Because Jimmy did not just build businesses. He built a machine to own them all. Beast Industries is the holding company that sits on top of everything. The YouTube channels, Feastables, the production studio, all of it lives under one roof. And in 2024, a major investor called Alpha Wave put around $300 million into that company. By 2026, with a new fundraising round on the table, the whole business was being valued at roughly $5 billion. $5 billion. And Jimmy owns just over half of it, which is where the bulk of his $2.6 billion net worth actually comes from. Not cash in a vault, ownership of a company that investors believe is worth billions. But the empire keeps spreading. Take Lunchly, a packaged meal brand he launched with other top creators, aimed straight at the lunchboxes of millions of kids. It walked into a market dominated by giant legacy food companies and started taking shelf space using the same playbook as Feastables. Built-in attention instant distribution. Then there is ViewStats. While other creators guess what works, Jimmy built and bought analytics software that helps creators study their own videos. He sells the very shovels that everyone in the gold rush needs to dig. A creator selling tools to other creators, that is owning the ecosystem, not just competing in it. And in early 2026, the empire moved into a completely new world. Beast Industries acquired Step, a banking app built for teenagers. Think about who watches MrBeast. A massive young audience just starting to earn and spend their own money. Now he owns a financial app pointed directly at them. Chocolate lunches and now their bank account. See the pattern? Every move uses the same hidden asset. 500 million people who already trust him. He keeps asking one question. What else can I sell to an audience this size? And what business can I own instead of just promote? That is the difference between famous and wealthy. Plenty of people get famous. They cash in with a few sponsorships and disappear. Jimmy treats fame as raw material. He converts attention into ownership over and over across snacks, meals, software, media, and money apps. And every one of those businesses feeds the others. The videos promote the chocolate funds the studio makes the Amazon show, the show grows the audience powers the next product. It is a flywheel, and every spin makes the next spin easier. So here is the lesson of the empire. Real wealth is rarely one big thing. It is a collection of assets that feed each other, wrapped inside a company you control. Jimmy did not get rich from a single hit. He got rich by owning a portfolio of businesses, all powered by the one engine he spent a decade building. Which brings us to the strangest part of this whole story. A man worth $2.6 billion, who by his own admission has less than 1 million in the bank. In the final chapter, let me explain the formula that makes perfect sense. Here is the fact that confuses almost everyone. Beast is worth around $2.6 billion. And yet he has openly admitted that he keeps less than $1 million in his actual bank account. How can the same person be a billionaire and almost cash poor at the same time? Once you understand the answer, you understand how the truly rich really think. The secret is the difference between cash and ownership. Cash is the money sitting in your account. Ownership is the slice you hold of businesses that grow in value over time. Jimmy's billions are not dollars in a vault. They are his stake in Beast Industries, a company investors value at around $5 billion. He is rich because he owns a big piece of something valuable, not because he is hoarding piles of cash. And he made that choice on purpose. Every dollar that flows in from YouTube, from chocolate, from streaming, he funnels almost all of it straight back into the next bigger video and the next business. He is not trying to feel rich. He is trying to become richer. Spending the money on yourself makes you look wealthy. Reinvesting it makes you actually wealthy. This is the exact same playbook the smartest builders have always used. You do not get rich by earning a paycheck and spending it. You get rich by owning assets that compound and resisting the urge to cash out. A paycheck gets taxed and spent. Ownership grows quietly year after year and can be worth far more later than the cash ever would have been today. Now connect the whole story. The expensive videos were never the business. They were advertising for the real businesses. The chocolate, the meals, the software, the bank app, all of them were ways to convert free attention into owned assets. And every one of those assets sits inside a single company that he controls and that keeps climbing in value. That is the flywheel that made him a billionaire. Build an audience nobody else can match. Use that audience to launch products for almost no marketing cost. Pour the profits back in to grow even bigger. Wrap it all in a company you own. And repeat for 10 straight years without ever stopping to spend. The discipline is the rarest part. Most people cannot resist turning their first big win into a nicer lifestyle. Jimmy delayed that gratification longer than almost anyone, treating money as a tool instead of a trophy. That patience is exactly why his number has so many zeros. So here is the real takeaway, the one you can actually use. Stop chasing a bigger paycheck and start chasing ownership. Build something people pay attention to. Then sell them something you own, not something you rent. And when the money comes in, reinvest it instead of spending it. And let the years do the heavy lifting. That is the entire MrBeast formula. It was never about one viral video. It was about owning the attention, owning the products, owning the company, and being patient enough to let it all compound into billions. He turned a camera and an obsession into an empire. The tools are sitting right in front of you too. The only question left is whether you are willing to play the long game like he did. Now go make the first dollar. The rest is easy.